Hey babe, look what hole I am in. I try not to think too much about what might have been. How nice if I just could let you in. I know you could be my remedy. How long will you keep trying? I know it's not, babe, it's not easy. I guess deep down inside, I knew you could be my remedy. If I gave you my heart, you could tear it apart. And if I tell you how I feel, would you be good to me? How nice if I just could let you in. I know you could be my remedy. How long will you keep trying? I know it's not, babe, it's not easy. I guess deep down inside, I know you could be my remedy.
Hey, good morning. Pardon me. Hey, good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome back to the show. Nathan Ivy with you. Good morning. Tremendous Tuesday. Now, let me give you a heads up. I plan to be with you for, let's see here. I plan to be with you for probably up until 9 a.m. this morning. We may have a guest at 8:30 a.m. Because, as I said at the beginning of the week, there's a bunch of stuff going on this week that I need to get done. And I appreciate your patience and your consideration ahead of time. What? What are you doing? Okay, my son just walked in. He said something. That boy is hilarious. Again, good morning to you. On today's show, I want to talk about Monique's body shaming. She's a cyber bully now, and she cyber bullies black women. She cyber bullies black women exclusively. And if you can see that blurry image right there, that's the woman that she's cyberbullying. Apparently, somebody sent her that image like, hey, here's evidence of what you're talking about, Monique. And it's sparked many conversations, part of which started yesterday in the Friends Who Like the Nathan Ivy Show page. It's a private Facebook page that you're more than welcome to join. Just knock on the door and it will be answered. And it's just amazing to me how I don't get some people. I really don't understand it. Monique is a bigger woman herself. So how dare she body shame another woman because of how she's dressed and how she looks in what she's dressed in? I don't understand it. Also, we'll probably start with this. Maybe Cincinnati Public Schools are, as I've been saying it for years and years and years, but Cincinnati Public Schools has a black student problem. Cincinnati Public Schools has a black student problem. They have a problem with the black kids, and it's very evident. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, keep listening because I'm going to clue you all in. It's a very interesting article in WVXU. Not sure if you read WVXU, but that's a local publication. And what they found through their analysis is that Cincinnati Public Schools struggles to graduate Black students that go on to be successful, as in graduating from college. Is this true? How is this tolerable? Now, this comes on the heels of the fact that and this initiative is way too quiet, actually. I don't hear enough people keep talking about this and bringing it up. And local media is not doing its job. So that means that independent media has to jump in and make these points. But of course, we know that within the last month, you had the settlement between Cincinnati Public Schools and a Black family whose son, Gabriel Taye, was essentially bullied to the point where the young boy committed suicide. He hung himself with his own tie. And CPS officials didn't do their job. They essentially lied to the parents and did not really properly inform. Yes, thank you so much. Did not properly inform. Probably use just that. Did not properly inform. They did not properly inform the mother. Okay. And that comes on the heels of the ACLU's analysis that said that Black students were 5 times more likely to get exclusionary discipline. So you put all this together and it creates a picture. And the picture is that CPS has a problem with Black students. Yeah. At least in one case, when the boy was bullied, CPS officials ignored it. If you believe the analysis done by the ACLU, that Black students are 5 times more likely to get harsher discipline, that's a problem. And now WVXU has done an analysis and they found the CPS is not creating Black graduates that go on to graduate from college. And the district is the majority Black. The majority of the student body is Black. I'll say it again, CPS has a Black student problem. And I don't give a damn who the superintendent is. It doesn't seem to really matter. We got to talk about this morning because nobody else is, so we must talk about it here. 513-873-7134. It's terrible. Like I told you, man, a lot of good people that work at CPS, but there is a problem. Something is not right. It's bigger than just a superintendent. It's bigger than just a school board. You know, it's a problem that's years and years and years in the making. This is a long-term issue. Like I've said, I've joked before, but it's only funny because I know it to be true. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Yeah, I got a guest coming in at 9 a.m. this morning. Kevin Aldridge is going to come in. He's the opinion editor of the Cincinnati Enquirer. Good brother. And oh shit, I just remembered something. And he just wrote a piece about the violence in Cincinnati. So we're going to get into that at 9 a.m. this morning. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Most definitely. Let me send it to you right now so I don't forget. He's going to zoom into the show this morning. Boom, there it is. So I've joked about it before, and it cracks me up every time because I know it to be true. And as Muhammad Ali said, nothing is funnier than the truth. And that is that when it comes to, making graduates outside of Walnut Hills, maybe not so good. A cheese pizza? Oh, man. I don't think you can get a better cheese pizza anywhere in the state than in the cafeterias of Cincinnati Public Schools. They got some of the best pizzas. They should actually, if they want as a source of revenue, they should do like a late night pickup window. They'll make a mint. They'll make a whole bunch of money. CPS pizzas and the chicken patties, incredible. You'll love them. As cafeteria food goes, it's A1. Other than that, outside of Walnut Hills, maybe a little sprinkle, a little school here or there, problems, and more problems. So we got to talk about that this morning, okay? Don't go anywhere. But first, I want to talk about Monique, body shaming and cyberbullying yet another woman. I don't even really want to show you the image. I think that's as much as I want to get with the image because I don't want to be, I don't see anything wrong with it. But somebody posted this in the Facebook page, the friends page, and it came to my attention. And I'm just, see, this is what happens, man. Monique lose a little bit of weight. Now she thinks she brand new. So now she thinks she in a position to criticize other people. Now we had this conversation before, but I can tell from the comments that I need to do it again. So say it with me. Mind your own damn business. The last two words are hyphenated. You got to say them quick. Mind your own damn business. When you out in the store, you see a grown person. We ain't talking about children here. We talking about a grown person dressed the way they want to. Mind your own damn business. Okay? That's what you need to do. Don't worry about how another adult is leaving their house. Just worry about whether you own your own house. That's the only house you need to worry about is your own. I will never understand this. And I blame some of you. Some of you are the problem. Because y'all play into this like, oh, she do look a mess. I don't give a damn how she looks. It's none of your business. Mind your business. So apparently, like, I don't know, like 3-4 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, Monique went into this whole rant on Instagram talking about how she was in the airport and she seen my babies, the queens. You got to be a queen. They got on bonnets and house slippers and shit like that. And she was dead wrong about it. Black elitist. Like she better than somebody because she wear a suit to get on the airport. How many people ever ridden on the airport before? You ever been on a plane before? Raise your hand, been on a plane. A lot of people, right? And most people, especially if you're a frequent flyer or whatever, you want to be comfortable. I've been in the airport and seen people dressed, and I've seen people in PJs in the airport. It's because of two reasons. Number one, you could die, and they want to die comfortable. And number two, they want to be comfortable. They want to sleep. They plan on sleeping through the flight. A lot of people have a lot of anxiety about being on planes. The last thing you worried about when you're on a plane is what somebody else think about what you got on. That's the last thing. When I rode a plane, I didn't give a damn. I was hoping, man, I was praying to Black Jesus that the plane didn't go down. And for all these Black religious folks, if Black Jesus will accept you who you are, then why can't you? Is there like a dress code to get inside the pearly gates that I don't know about? Where is that in the Bible? Thou shalt not wear a bonnet. I don't think it's there. This is straight up Black elitism. I'm better than you. And some of this plantation mentality, oh boy, you making us all look bad because you dress down. Oh, Master don't like it when you dress down. We all gonna get whipped. He told you last time. What the fuck is this? This is like a Antebellum or something. You seen that movie? Y'all need to quit. Monique is so out of pocket. She is so wrong for this. I'm gonna read some of these comments to you. They just infuriated me. I'm just infuriated last night as I was working on a project. Well, she got a point. Look at this. It looks a mess. You look a mess. Who's to say you don't look a mess in somebody's eyes? Yeah, my mama didn't teach me that way, and so I don't. Well, then you shouldn't dress that way then. I guess I'm different, man. When I go to the store, I don't give a damn about how another adult is dressed. It don't even register. I barely see it because I'm usually got a mission, like I'm going to the store, or I got something to do, or I'm thinking about some things like that. Or what do I look like worrying about what another person is? But this is straight up body shaming. I'm not going to show you the entire image. That's as much as you get. You can find it on the Griot and things like that. But somebody sent this picture to Monique like, look, sis, this is what you talking about. See, she look a mess. These are Black women. I'm going to tell you one thing. Queens don't judge other women. If you're really a queen, you got this queen mindset, you too busy. You got other things going on to be worrying about what another woman is wearing at the airport. Queens don't do that. Because kings don't do that. I don't sit around worrying about what another man has on. I could care less. That's what you want to wear. You want to dress down today? Dress down today. You want to dress up like Homer Simpson and go to the store? Dress up like Homer Simpson and go to the store. That's on you, bro. Monique is not a queen because a queen don't have time for all of that. Queens don't do that. Good morning to you. Dead wrong. And she body shaming this Black woman because if she had a more what people would call an athletic body, she wouldn't be using her as an example. Shame on Monique, because Monique has had her own issues with weight. So she didn't dropped a few pounds. Now she looking glamorous. That's why I use that image right there. Now she thinks she looking glamorous. Now she want to criticize other people. What in the hell? Cyberbully. Monique is a cyberbully, and she exclusively cyberbullies Netflix and black women. And Lee Daniels. They all on the list. They are all on the list. If you want to share your thoughts this morning, 513-873-7134. If you like to share your thoughts, I would love to hear them, but it's a damn shame. Let me read some of these comments, man. I just got ticked off last night reading these comments. People in here just on just knucklehead shit. Just knuckleheads. Well, you know she got a point. She looking like she looking rough. My mama told me, your mama, it don't matter what your mama told you. It don't matter. Robert Anthony wrote, when black men wore pants showing their butt cracks, it wasn't body shaming. But now that it involves women and how they wear, all of a sudden it's body shaming. He got 2 likes for this nonsense. Let me see who liked this. Shame on you. Whoever liked that comment, shame on you. Shame on you. Straight up body shaming. Again, you have to search. Just go to Grio. You can see the whole image. I refuse to be a part of it. This is as much as I'm going to do, because I don't see no problem with it. If I was in the airport and I saw this sister, I wouldn't think anything of it. See, white folks don't do this to other white folks. You don't see white artists posting shit like this about white people in airports. This is some black plantation mentality type stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know how it is. I wasn't there, but we've read about it. We've seen the documentaries. One person steal a piece of watermelon, all the slaves get beat, right? One slave do something, all the slaves get punished. So there's some black folks that still hold on to that. Generations gets passed down. I guess it's in the blood. And so they got the same mentality that somehow we supposed to give a damn because white folks will look at this sister and be like, well, how don't she dress better? I still don't understand it. Like, how does this impact your life? It don't. And to Robert Anthony, I didn't give a damn about the dudes with the sagging jeans. I used to get in arguments with my former colleagues. All of them. It was all wrong about this. Run around here, these black elitists talking about somebody with sagging jeans. It looks terrible. Don't look at it then. Don't look at it. It's the same thing with these anti-abortion people. It's not enough for some of these people that's against abortion to just not have an abortion. That's not enough. They want to force you not to have an abortion. Same thing with this body shaming and the sagging jeans and the bonnets. It ain't enough for people that don't want to sag jeans to just not sag their own jeans. They want to stop other people from doing it. I don't give a damn about no sagging jeans. That ain't the problem in our community. It's nowhere near the problem in our community at all. It's just a distraction, some old plantation mentality holdover-ish, and nothing more than that. Nothing more than that. Now, we'll admit that since we had that conversation about the bonnets, when I go out, it is registering more just because we had a conversation, but I feel the same way. That's you, sis. Do you. Do you. You ain't hurting nobody. See, it's the criminalization of black bodies. These black folks ain't hurting nobody, but we want to criminalize them because they don't subscribe to the way some people think they're supposed to, right? But then when white folks do the same thing to us, all of a sudden it's a problem. It's the same thing. It's no damn difference. It's the same mentality. You must be doing something wrong because you got a bonnet on. Oh my God. The Instagram post that Monique posted is just terrible as well. It's just terrible. I read through it and she's trying. See, she must have got a lot of critiques because I could tell. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. She must have got a lot of critiques because I can tell that the way that she worded it, that she's trying to skirt that line. Like, I ain't trying to be too hard on you, but I'm just saying this is what I'm talking about. Oh, the hell? All I can say is that And somebody posted this. If Monique spent half as much, she needs to spend all the time she talking about these bonnets and way women dressing. You go work on them jokes, sis. Go work on them jokes. Get your joke game up. That way you can get that Netflix. You can get that Netflix special you've been looking for. Here's what she posted. She got 48,331 likes at the point that I'm reading this. Hey, beautiful queens. No shaming. Anytime somebody say no shaming, what's that mean? They shaming. But how is a woman that struggled with her weight gonna turn around, drop about 15, 20? Now you want to body shame? Damn problem. Hey, beautiful queens. No shaming. If this is the best you can do, no judgment, do you? If this is the best you can do, no judgment, do you? There's a judgment in that. This was sent to me as an example of what we're talking about that goes on in our community. However, if this is not your best, then do better. Being that ultimately the decision either way is yours, I love us for real. Notice how he tried to sprinkle some BS in there, whole lot of BS, because she knows she runs on some no shaming. When anybody says that at the beginning of a post of this nature, that's exactly what they doing. This is a 53-year-old woman. She's 53, not 35. I'm gonna go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show. I'm doing great, brother. Hold on one second. I don't have you plugged all the way in. Let me get them all the way in. Hold on one. Let's go back to it. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, Nate. How you doing?
I'm doing great, brother. Welcome.
Hey, thank you. It's Terrence, man.
Yep.
Kind of been in the morning. You kind of just skirted. You're condemning yourself, saying, "How dare a woman who just lost all this weight say anything about how anybody else looks?" And I hate that we keep going back to this conversation. To be honest with you, there's a lot more pressing issues going on before our people in our government. And I say this, you kind of, I'll be frank, you kind of pissed me off when you kind of that slave plantation mentality type stuff. And I'll tell you a little bit about me fast. I'm a conductor of the Underground Railroad, and about 300 people across the Ohio River to freedom. Now, I want you to think about all the other people that lived and stayed on the plantation that didn't think that freedom was possible. There were laws written on the books that prohibited us from commingling. There were laws put on the book that prevented us from educating ourselves, reading and writing. There were laws literally put on the books for us not to be able to vote. And people still refuse to take advantage of the opportunities that over the time of the evolutionary process of this America that we all live in and enjoy, some people still haven't taken advantage of those opportunities that's afforded to them. Now, yes, this young lady has every right to wear whatever she wants to wear in public. Nobody is saying that. Nobody is taking that away from anybody. That's their individual liberty that they can enjoy. People say it's a cliche. So military, whatever that means. But here's the thing. I don't think we will have a picture to your young man. I don't think again, I know it's different, obviously, on a radio show versus being inside closed quarters in your doors, but I doubt that even you as a man would let that be prominent in front of your son, just as much as you refuse to show it right now. Now, I don't agree with her posting the picture. It is to be a little bit about, it's kind of, that is, let's just be honest about that. But I think it is appropriate conversation about how there is a divide in the perceptions of people in the Black community. I saw kind of lose. He said, "Well, isn't this part of what just reinforces stereotypes about us?" It does in some fashion, but here's the thing. We can't do about what other people think about us. We can only control how they observe us. And For me and how I was raised, um, you know, your first impression is your lasting impression, even in business. And no matter how many times we try to parse this, I'm not raising my daughter to show herself out like that. And I'll make another quick comment real fast. More so about how this is kind of like beside ourselves. So if anybody's ever applied for a government job or had a security clearance, they know that they do a character check, background check, suitability check. And we all should know on the age of digital media, they're looking at your Facebook, they're looking at your Twitter, they're looking at your Instagram. And I really question if people think that those images don't play a factor in terms of what decisions are made, in terms of what level of access of information are able to get access to. It really makes a difference. But kind of real.
You're breaking up, brother.
I'm sorry.
You're kind of breaking up a little bit. Are you in the car? Are you traveling?
No, I'm in my apartment. Let me see if I can open my window, make it a little bit better. We went on and had that conversation in the group, and again, we're beating a dead horse about something that that doesn't really make a hill of beans individually, but collectively, if we are really about quote unquote a village or moving a masses of people forward, hey, if you know better, do better. If that's not for you, it ain't for you. But we all know you can't save everybody. And I'll say one last thing before we go. There was a post you talked about some kids being banned from going to the movies and people claiming and screaming discrimination and discrimination. Okay, just something like that. You file a civil rights commission charge with the state of Ohio, and you allege or you charge them with discrimination. That Facebook camaraderie stuff, to me, it may build momentum, but if people are really talking about tangible change and actually changing the dynamic of what we're facing, we have to do the steps that are before us and that allow for us to seek tangible change. A Facebook post, I'm sorry, doesn't cut the mustard. We can't cry discrimination without actually trying to remedy the situation. It's just a waste of time. We as a community really need to stop wasting our time. We have issues that are really facing us every day, and we're worried about somebody's clothing. So we need to get it together, snap out of it, and talk about how our city might be losing millions of dollars with the earnings tax rebate. That's going to cause even more of a major budget shortfall. It's more so about it. And that's all I got. I appreciate your time, man.
Appreciate the call. That's Terrence checking in. That's a good brother right there. It's a good brother. But like I said, that is a slave plantation mentality. He said something about, doesn't that reinforce stereotypes? That right there. I eat chicken when I get ready to eat chicken. I don't give a damn who's around me. When I love watermelon. It's great for you. And as a man, it's great for men in particular. I eat watermelon when I get ready to. I don't care who's around. I dance when I get ready to. I don't care who's around. I laugh when I want to laugh. I don't care who's around. I don't give a damn about reinforcing those stereotypes. That's that plantation mentality. We don't want to reinforce the stereotypes because then what they think about us must be true. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's that plantation mentality, worrying about what white folks think about you. I do what I want to do when I get ready to. I don't care if it's stereotypical or not, period. I waited 18 years to be grown. I ain't giving it up for nobody. No man, no woman, no child. I's grown, boss. When I get ready to eat chicken, I eat chicken, period. When I want to have some watermelon, I'll say it again. I eat watermelon, period. I don't give a damn what nobody thinks about it. It ain't going to stop. Again, racist don't give a damn what you dress like. Don't care what you sound like. Don't care about how many degrees you have. Don't make a difference. So stop trying to play into that. Wrong. And I might hear you. There's a lot of issues to talk about. We'll talk about more issues today, but I've been doing this long enough. I'll talk about what I feel like we want to talk about. What I think is relevant and interesting. Interesting is a very important part of it. And I disagree with some. People say I've grown to feel differently about it. I feel like there's levels to it, right? And even a conversation like this, there's real relevance and importance to it. It may not be a conversation about the earnings tax, or we'll talk about CPS and black students and the violence in Cincinnati later. But there's a place for everything. And this is the perfect place for it. I want to get your thoughts about it. I was outraged, disappointed by what I saw last night in these comments. Absolutely. And Cass, I am outraged at you right now. Talking about, here's Cass. She writes, she's not body shaming, Nate. She never once mentioned her body. She's talking about her clothes. I think because the woman was shaped a certain way, people assume it's body shaming. She body shamed that woman. I'll say it again. If that woman in that photograph had a more athletic build than the photograph, she never would have reposted it. And Monique can argue, any people can say whatever they want to say. That's what I think about it. She straight up body shamed this woman. Like, look how she dressed. Dress your size, sis. And of course she didn't say anything about her body shape because she know that the internet would come for her. Of course she didn't. But we old enough to read between the lines. Shame on all of y'all. Shame on y'all. Shame on y'all. Samantha writes, show the caller's girlfriend who cheated on him, but not the woman who was out in public. Not sure what he's talking about. Nat writes, Monique needs to worry about climate change or wealth inequality. Climate change. Oh, man. Samantha writes, good morning, Nate the Choppers. Good morning to you. Jenny writes, good morning, Nate the Choppers. Who sings this song? This song?
Hey, babe, look what
House of Say. House of Say. Check it out. Terrence writes, good morning, everyone. How soon before the gloves come off, LOL? We start with the gloves off. We start. Anthony writes, morning, Chop Shoppers. This shirt is big on me, man. Look at this. Damn. I didn't realize how big it was until I just got on the camera right here. You know, I have to change that. Dale writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Jenny writes, thanks, Terrence. Now, why you going to thank Terrence for that? For the call? Clearly body shaming. Clearly. Let me see. Robert Anthony wrote, folks can't have it both ways either. Actually, sometimes you can have it both ways. If you want to dress like this, fine. If you don't care that you look ridiculous because you ain't trying to impress nobody, fine. Again, looking ridiculous. This is so important because these are the small little ways that black people divide themselves. That's what the core of this issue is. It's deeper than just the clothes. It's how we divide ourselves. Everybody want to talk about how there's not more unity in the community. Here's a great example of why. Here's a great example of why we can't be more united, because we dividing ourselves over some dumb ish. But you can't dress like this and get mad someone posted a pic on you online. Keep that same you don't care and you ain't trying to impress nobody energy. Now, Robert, if you're listening, I don't know if the woman in the photograph has said anything about it. But she would have every right to if she wanted to. Because Monique got like 1 million people on Instagram following her. This is what you posting? This is what you posting? If she not complaining about how black elites in the entertainment system turn a back on her, then she's being a black elitist. It's like, come on, yo. Come on, Didi writes, Nathan, I listened to the show and I heard you talking about how sometimes Kevin Samuels speak the truth about women and black women don't like it, etc. That's right. Sometimes he gets it right. You indicated how black queen is a thing now, but every woman is not, and sometimes that title don't match up with some women. Yeah, some people think that we got this whole queen movement right now, and I love it. But that don't have, to me, it has less to do with what you got on and more to do with what you got going on. It don't matter what you got on, it's what you got going on up here. That's what makes you a king or a queen. For instance, this is a more fictionalized example, but I'm going to go here anyway. Remember Hakeem, Prince of Zamunda? Left Africa, went to New York looking for a bride. He was still a king when he was working at McDonald's. Had a McDonald's outfit on. That's not what makes you a king or queen. That's that dumb-ish, that surface-oriented BS that American society got some black folks caught up with. That don't make you a king or queen. Like I said, I know some people in this city that if they was walking past you, you wouldn't think nothing of them. Paid, multiple homes, big stacks of cash in the bank, and you would never even know it. Great attitude, great people. You would never even know it. You would never even know it. So for all we know, this woman in this photograph, she owned her own home. For all we know, let me take this off here. For all we know, this woman in this photograph, she owns her own home. It's all blurred out because I refuse to cyberbully and be a part of the problem like Monique. For all we know, she got an 850 credit score. For all we know, she put herself or putting her kids or somebody she know through college. For all we know, she's a great person. For all we know, she volunteers in her community. We have no idea. People just looking at what she got on and want to judge this sister. That's not royalty. Kings and queens don't do that. I'm just pulling cards this morning, keeping it real with you. Kings and queens don't do that. They got better things to do than try to pull somebody else down because you're not dressed the way they think they should be. Listen, family, I have to talk about this. I can tell from the comments. I must do this. It must be done. Brent writes, so when did the concept, when you do better, turn into false elitism accusations? It ain't nothing false. My response to him was, Brent, when did minding your own business stop being a thing? We need to stop pontificating and come up with little quotes and stuff to try to dress up cyberbullying, trying to dress up basically capping and criticizing somebody else. Well, it takes a village to raise a child. A child, not a grown person. When you know better, do better. That's for you to internalize, not for you to project onto somebody else. See, people just don't know. That's why I'm here to set the record straight. When you know better, you do better. Yeah, that's a real thing for the individual to do, not for you to project that onto somebody else and to dress up your critique of them. I just love my people. If you love your people, you mind your own damn business. If you love your people. Sometimes loving your people means minding your own damn business, period. We can live in a village and still mind your own damn business. Come on, Brent. Mila's right. Mila writes, Monique should have spent this much energy wheeling and dealing with Netflix. Maybe she would have got a deal. Correctamundo, sis. Correctamundo. Pamela writes, I don't know. I'm kind of with Monique on this, but I wouldn't have posted a picture or shame her. How you going to be with Monique on this and she's cyberbullying and body shaming black women? Since when did body shaming black women become the pastime of queens? That's what queens do? That's what queens do. Queens sit around body shaming other sisters. That's what queens do. I don't believe it. I don't believe it one bit. There's just some things that I'm just not going to do. But it has nothing to do with somebody else. Do what you want to do. Do what you gonna do. Don't mean I have to. Don't mean you have to. Simple as that. Let me see here. Let's see. Let's go to the phones here. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivy. It's your favorite ill-informed line, Black Not Democrat. How you doing, sir?
I never said you were a liar. I just said that you were misinformed.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Why are you trying to trigger me already? You don't even know what I want to talk about. Oh, okay. You turned your mic off.
All right. I'm still here.
Oh, okay. All right. Because I know what you're doing. But But anyway,
I was
Mr.
just
Ivy.
drinking some herbal tea, some organic tea.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you keep doing what you're doing, sir, because I just turned you on at about 5 o'clock, and I caught the end of Terrence Braxton's call, and I see the artwork for your show. So I'm assuming we talking about Monique cloud chasing, trying to get some of that Kevin Samuels following and subscribers. Is that what she's doing now?
I think so.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious now, Mr. Ivy, what Monique is about. Okay. And some people are using social media, Mr. Ivy, for to generate income. You know, and it's nothing wrong with it. It's the American way, capitalism. But it's only 8 out of 10 Americans that are actually on Twitter, for one. Now, obviously, Facebook is a little bit more, but everybody is not on social media, Mr. Ivy. And you know that because I know you see the demographic and the numbers, especially African Americans.
The vast majority of people are on some kind of social media platform.
But Twitter, which is constantly quoted by the mainstream media, it's only 8 out of 10 Americans don't even mess with Twitter.
Yeah, but they're probably on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube.
Yeah, but it's different. It's a different type of platform.
True.
And that's what I mean by Monique is clout chasing with this type of stuff that she's doing because she knows what the algorithms are. She knows, because I hear YouTubers say it all the time, how they switch up things on their show to change the algorithms because YouTube controls where their stuff goes and who gets to see it. I mean, everybody forgets that, like you always say, these platforms belong to them. We have no control over our so-called page. So, you know, but again, Mr. Ivy, I think we should talk about other issues. If we're going to talk about this kind of stuff, about fat people wearing clothes that other people think only skinny people should wear, then I think we should talk about black on black crime. I think we should talk about these new cash bail systems that are being implemented in blue cities like New York, Chicago, LA. We should talk about the impact of criminals who are being let out on virtually no bond or let out.
I thought Danita dealt with it.
No, you don't. No, Mr. Ivy, you don't deal with an issue where babies are dying all the time in the black community, and it's been going on forever. You don't just talk about that issue one time.
And it's politically incorrect to use that term, black on black crime. That's not a real
thing. It doesn't matter.
That's something people made up.
It's happening. Okay, Mr. Ivy, you tell the mother or the father of that little boy who died on Detroit's freeway that how much white on white crime. It doesn't matter to the victims, Mr. Ivy. And that's one thing sometimes you kind of gloss over are the victims of these crimes that's going on in some of these cities.
I'm disappointed.
And it's been going on
I think you just
for a long
victims
time
as a shield to make a tired
point. Well, you can say what you want.
I think you just trying to use these black bodies to make a tired point about the Democrats that run these cities. That's what I think.
Well, it's because every time the issue is brought up, and it's mainly by the victims the family members of these victims, they're the ones that are saying this. They're the ones that are saying, where's the protest for us? Where's the national attention for us? Where's Reverend Al Sharpton and Benjamin Crump holding press conferences for us? Where are they starting the GoFundMe pages for us?
That's the wrong question.
That's what they're saying, Mr. Ivy.
See, that's the wrong question.
Every time a black person brings up the issue of black on black crime in the community, especially in the summertime when the shit just gets real crazy, the first response is, well, what about why you ain't talking about white on? Who cares about what white people doing?
That's not the first
black
response.
People.
Yes, it is.
You do it all the time.
The first response is black on black crime is not a real thing. That's some made up
Nathan
BS
Ivy,
as a response.
You do it all the time.
When white police officers kill unarmed black folks. So what they'll say is,
what about black on black
crime? That's all that is.
The two don't have anything to do with each other, Mr. Ivy. More people have been shot in the city of Chicago last week than unarmed black people being shot by police.
Either you don't care about this
Ivy,
issue,
it's not the truth.
Either you don't care about this issue. Either you don't care about this issue or you're misinformed about this issue. Would you like to know why?
Well, okay, before you tell me why, is it an issue or not of black people killing other young black people?
Crime is an issue across the board.
And that includes black people killing other black people,
It
right?
kills people. It includes people killing
No,
other people.
why can't you say it? What is wrong with saying
because I'm not going to play into the madness.
It's a problem.
Because I'm not going to play into the madness. That's why.
Mr. Ivy, thousands of young black people get killed every year in this country.
And you don't really care.
By other black people at the hands of other young black people.
I don't think you really care about it. I think this is just a way to try to criticize Democrats and criticize cashless bail and bonds and things like that.
Did you hear me? Oh, but Mr. Ivy, those type of policies come from the politicians who don't want to address the actual issue. They say, "Oh, you lock up too many black people,
and you don't want to address the actual issue.
They can't afford the bond."
And you don't want to address the actual issue.
Mr. Ivy,
you really cared about,
I don't want to troll you. I don't want to troll you. I don't want to troll you. But you need to play that press conference. You need to play the press conference from David Johnson, the superintendent of Chicago Police Department yesterday, when they had another mass shooting. Mr. Ivy, he said it. He said the main problem is illegal guns, the lack of prosecution for carrying those illegal guns, and he also said that judges are letting, and he called them violent offenders out of jail. Mm-hmm. He said it. The mayor of Chicago, she said it.
Oh,
the governor of New York. The governor of New York had to repeal their cash bond law because they were letting certain people out of jail that shouldn't be let out. So again, Mr. Ivy, this is an issue, and more black people, more community leaders, more media personalities like you need to talk about it for what it really is.
This a soliloquy? You just talking to the audience,
Mr. Ivy. I don't have the platform like you do, asking. Sir.
So I can tell that you don't really care about this issue. Because if you really cared about this issue, this phenomenon of violence happening in our communities, then I will hear you talking about some things you never bring up. That is the root causes. The root causes. The root cause of the violence that's happening in our community, sir, has nothing to do with what prosecutors are doing or judges are doing. That's not the root. When are you conservatives going to deal with the root issues? Like too much dope, not enough hope, poverty, not adequate access, public schools that's failing. If you want to talk about the guns, let's start holding these gun manufacturers more responsible for the product they're putting out there. You don't want to talk about the root cause of it. You just want to use this as a talking point to criticize Democrats and what you think are liberal policies. That's all this is.
Well, okay, Mr. Ivy, you talk about the root cause. Okay, our president just signed a $1.9 trillion COVID relief deal. And when he signed it, he said, this came out of his mouth, that $1.9 trillion ended childhood poverty. He said it. Okay, so again, the root causes.
Do you believe that?
Have been addressed.
I have to see the quote.
The root cause, no, but Mr. Ivy
giving us bad quotes. But so what? What does that have to do with anything?
The point is, it needs to be talked about besides fat women wearing skinny clothes.
If we're going to talk about crime in our community, we need to talk about the underlying core root problems, not what judges and prosecutors are doing. That's not really the issue.
Mr. Ivy, again, sir, you have the platform. I do not. Okay? I do not have the platform like you do. You have the power behind your microphone to put a spotlight on the killing of young black people at the hands of other young black people. Every time this issue is brought up, and it's always in the summertime, when it's hot out there and these young people running around in these streets, and because they have easy access to weapons now, everybody's strapped. And don't nobody know how to fight. Ain't nobody fight.
And the reason why they have easy access to weapons is because of our relaxed gun laws.
No.
You don't want to talk about that, do you?
Every time someone wants to bring up the issue, and the right time to bring up the issue is when a rogue police officer kills an unarmed black person.
That's a completely different issue.
No, it's not.
It is a
it's
completely
another
different
black
issue,
life
sir.
law.
It's a completely different issue.
But look,
Citizens,
Mr.
human
Ivy,
to
look
humans.
how you're responding.
I'm just telling
you. Look how
you.
you're responding.
I'm setting the record
you're
straight,
coming
sir,
at me
on two levels. Number one, you're wrong about something. If you really care about the violence that's happening in the community, you need to get beyond talk and move to action. So if you really care about this, stop talking and get busy out in these streets and in the community. That's number one.
Mr.
So we don't need to keep talking about it. We need to start doing something about it. And then number two, you're talking about, what about gun laws? What about the access to these guns? Why is it so easy?
Okay. All right.
It's because your party primarily, right, supports gun rights over everything else. Right? That's what it comes down to.
I'm just a caller. I'm just telling you. Quit trying to tie me.
I'm just holding you responsible as a caller to what's coming out of your mouth. That's it.
No, I'm not an elected official. I call a show like yours because you have the platform to elevate something that I say. Because you always point out the so-called lies that I say, and you spend time talking about the lies. But Danita, I mean, she come in and fact checking everything I say.
Yeah, she was right.
Talking about the issue.
Where was she wrong?
But the issue that I brought up, Mr. Ivy, not whether I didn't dot that I or cross that T.
Facts matter.
I'm talking about the subject that you need to address. Well, not that you need to. It's your show. But you have the platform to talk about these issues and reach more people. And hopefully somebody will be influenced if you just say, we don't care about white people killing white people. We care about our young black people killing other black people. It has to stop.
If you care
Mamas,
so much,
daddies, talk to your children
and do something about
it. Make them aware that what they're doing is not good for our community. It doesn't help our community to be gunning down people in broad daylight, like happened in Chicago yesterday. 12 people gunned down. A young lady
you live
died.
in California.
It doesn't matter.
It does
Black
matter.
people are dying across this country, Mr. Ivy.
You don't
and
really
I'm
care
talking about
It's
it
just a
on your
talking
show.
point for you.
On your show, to hopefully that somebody will start trending the hashtag Stop Black on Black Crime. But all they want to talk about is fat people. All they want to talk about is fat people wearing skinny people clothes. It is a major issue, Mr. Ivy. Across America, in the 6 months of this year, over 5,000 black people have been murdered by other, I don't need to say no more. You can laugh about it, but again, the victims and the families of this violence, it needs to be addressed, and I think it needs to be put on the platform. And when somebody black brings it up, I don't think they should get. Well, what about white on white crime? What about white on white crime?
Start doing something. You care so much about what's happening in Chicago? Take a flight to Chicago, roll your sleeves up, and get busy.
I am doing something. Aren't you listening, sir? I'm doing something by calling your show. You have the platform, not me. You can put up.
Fruit.
You can. No. See again, Mr. Ivy. I'm gonna hold you accountable. You can bring guests on your show to address this issue. You can bring on pastors. You can bring on community leaders to talk about what is wrong in our community. That we got these young people in broad daylight, Mr. Ivy. Just running, just gunning, just spraying bullets everywhere in broad daylight. Just no care about innocent bystanders. It used to be a code in the hood. You don't shoot kids and old people. That's gone. And it's because there's no organization or within the criminal, in the gangs, they don't have the OGs no more. So again, Mr. Ivy, I'm calling you. You have the platform to at least address it in the Cincinnati area. Just put it out there, sir, that we need to start talking about this instead of fat people wearing skinny people clothes. That's all I got. Drop Squad 52. Shout out to the Alt Middle and their affiliates. I'm out. Thank you, sir.
You know what? I've been doing this long enough to hear it all. I've heard it all. Hold on 1 second. Hey, what's up, babe? You going to work today? Okay. How you feel? Okay, but you're going to brave it. You're going to tough it out. All right. All right, I love you. Have a great day. Speaking of Medium Buddha, she got her a volunteer gig out here working. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nathan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Fame. Welcome to the show.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure to be
Yes, it is.
In the presence of my brother about Black issues. And again, as I said, every time you open this microphone, we are enriched and ennobled. However, see, the thing is with Monique is that it looks like it's shaming because it's her. She's made good coins throughout her career. You know, she never really got the mainstream success that she probably deserved. She's always been kind of only Black famous. Even the Parkers, you know, even though it had a white character, it was still a Black show, a Black famous show, which was sad because Monique, I always thought she was a top 5 comedian of my lifetime, male or female. I always thought she was immensely talented and should have broke over, but she never did. But it's because she's doing it is where people have a problem with it. Had it been one of these dickhead, no talent comedians on Facebook nowadays doing it, it'd have 500,000 shares and retweets and whatnot. But because she's doing it, it's a problem. Now, she's not walking up to nobody and telling them, sis, you got to do better, blah, blah, blah. She's just, you know, pointing out some observations we have. I don't have a problem with that. Just pointing it out, like, hey, we got to do better. I mean, you know, a brother was talking about that yesterday. That's why you have so many airport fights. People just walking out into the airport just wearing anything. And, you know, there's no sense of decorum, no sense of couth. You know, so you just go out there and, you know, you're turned up already. And, you know, and so when something goes awry, you've already got your turn up mode on. You know, I don't go to the, you know, airport in anything but Dockers and a collared shirt. I'm not dressed to the nines, but I'm, you know, I'm doing something where the edge is all obviously off. I'm letting people know I'm here for business, no matter where I'm going. You know, I could be going to Las Vegas to, you know, to blow some money, you know, or, you know, wherever. Or, you know, the first time I ever flew was for a job interview. You know, of course I was dressed to the nines then. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think we're just taking this the wrong way because it came from Monique. You know, had this been from anybody else, any of these, like, what's the guy's name? Ha Davis. Had he done this, it would be the funniest thing going.
He would have did it. Maybe you're right about that. Maybe you're right about that. I don't know. You know, maybe another comedian would have brought a different touch, a different feel, a different viewpoint. Maybe they would have found the funny in it without trying to criminalize the sister, try to talk down on her. I think there's a way to do that.
Well, I mean, what's the point of wearing a trash bag in public, man?
I used to see people wearing what I thought was trash bags back in the 80s and 90s. It was like workout wear. They wanted to sweat. It was like plastic, whatever, workout wear. It wasn't trash bag, but that's what it looked like.
That ain't what this no hips, no butt having woman is doing. You know, that's not what she's doing. I don't know what her issue is. I don't know what it is. But again, it's the person that posted it. It's Monique. It's because it's her. You know, and she is not necessarily part of it. Is she doesn't come off as a comedian as much as a social commentator / auntie anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But for the people, you know, saying mind your business, you mind your business by not walking up to her and confronting her. But talking about it on social media and whatnot, there's nothing wrong with that. That's like
not minding your business.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Then why the fuck you got a talk show, man, if we got to mind our business? Come on, B.
I don't understand your point.
Crickets. I thought so.
I don't understand your point.
What you mean you don't
What's your point?
If you don't have an opinion, why is there a Nathan Ivey show? An opinion-driven show.
I don't understand your point.
I figured you wouldn't.
Yeah.
So
it was a good try, but
listen, no, it's not a try. Actually, the kick was true.
No.
as they say in football, the kick is true. If we don't need to have an opinion on it, then why did I drop the future politician, Mr. Braxton? Why are you having the opinion editor of the Enquirer, Kevin Aldridge, going to write about problems in the black community of Cincinnati, of which he doesn't live in, at which he doesn't live? How can he have an opinion on Cincinnati when he doesn't live in Cincinnati? He lives in Butler County.
Has nothing to do. Irrelevant.
He lives in Butler County, just like you were telling Drop to not have an opinion on Chicago because he lives in California. So therefore, we're allowed to have opinions. We're allowed to have opinions on whatever the fuck we want to have an opinion on.
Exactly.
Calm down, B.
You are.
Exactly. And I'm having an opinion. Monique's having an opinion. We just don't like it because it feels like Monique is looking.
Having an opinion. And my opinion is mind your own damn business when you're talking about how another person is dressed. So that's how it works. Everybody gets an opinion.
It looks like Monique.
Didn't your mom ever tell you to mind your own damn business?
Yeah, when talking about her. No, nobody else.
I'm just saying. Your mama told you when you was little to mind your own damn business. These kind of scenarios, what you're talking about. Exactly. You talking about another grown person, what they wearing? None of your business. Say
none of my business.
You can have an opinion and keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself.
Okay, so somebody loved the Nathan Ivey show, they should keep that to themselves.
False equivalency.
Don't share that opinion.
Keep it on the topic, sir. Keep it on the topic. You're all over the map. You comparing Drop, who live in California, talking about something in Chicago, to Kevin Aldridge, who works in Cincinnati. I don't care where he lives. He works in Cincinnati. False equivalency, sir.
No.
Get focused.
He works from his home. He works from his home.
Get focused.
He works from his home. Nobody goes into another. These newspaper writers don't go into an office anymore.
He works for the Cincinnati Enquirer, not the Butler Enquirer, sir. Get focused. Anything else?
Okay, I had a byline published in USA Today. Does that mean I work? Does that mean I live in McLean, Virginia?
Does
that mean I live in McLean,
False
Virginia?
Equivalency. Past tense.
Does that mean I live in? Okay. Does that mean I live in McLean, Virginia?
What?
Okay, then. See, that's what I'm saying. Does that mean I live in McLean? Just because I had a byline in USA Today, that doesn't mean I live in McLean, Virginia, where the headquarters is. Whatever points you were making about Aldridge, Aldridge and Drop.
You're unfocused, sir.
Okay,
you're focused.
No, you're unfocused. Just because you're saying that and being dismissive, blatantly dismissive,
I'm not
means
being dismissive.
Nothing.
I'm trying to get you back on track. You way over here. We need you back over here. Get back on camera.
I'm way in the alt middle, where I've always been, in the middle.
Right.
Alt middle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You're way out left. You're coming out of left field. Because, apparently, you as you always tell us, you were made fun of in school and things like that. You felt that the kids should have minded their own damn business.
You're reaching, son.
But these are adults we're talking about.
I'm way past all of that. You're reaching.
Okay, but these are adults that we're talking about.
You reach, I teach.
You should not be out in public with a trash bag on your head.
You can be out in public.
There's nothing.
You can be out in public, whatever the hell you want to be out in public with. If you're a grown person and you ain't committing no law, you ain't breaking no laws or hurting anybody. Period.
And before I go, I just want to say, I saw the BET Awards and F Lil Nas X. Okay, if you want to be gay, be gay. But like you ain't got to throw it all in our face. I don't watch the BET Awards to see people making out on television. Whatever your views are on homosexuality, that's one opinion. But I don't care who it is. I don't care to see all that during a musical performance. There was nothing musically captivating about that. You just throwing it in our face. Hey, I'm Lil Nas X and I like dick. That's all you were doing. There was nothing artistic about it. So I hope he goes to hell. I hope he never sells another record in life. I really am disgusted behind it. I could get more into it, but I'm kind of in a public place. So I'm kind of trying to keep my voice down. But let's just leave it there. And I just want to let you know it's always a pleasure, and it's been real. I had fun, and we'll chat again soon.
Yeah, you could put more into it. It wasn't as throaty as I've heard before. That man was all over the place. All over the place. Let me say it again. Everybody's mama taught you. Mind your own damn business. It's cowardice, quite honestly. I think it's cowardice. It's cowardice. Running on social media talking about somebody. If you really had any real stones, you walk up to them and tap them on the shoulder and say something to them face to face. That's what a real person would do. Talking about that's what social media is for. That's not what social media is for. You can have all the opinions in the world. Don't mean you got to share them. I be having all kind of thoughts. Don't mean you need to hear them all. It's just what it is. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, comrade.
Good morning, Black Russia.
Yes, back to back for the y'all middle. We're like murderers row out here.
Nothing like
hey,
that.
Hey, listen, Alex, totally like that. You better check out Babe Ruth and them murderers rows back in the building from the 1920s. I got.
Y'all ain't got no bodies.
Man, we got plenty of bodies, man. We got a bench. Check it out. You'll see them off the bench. Don't worry. They coming.
Okay.
Hey, listen. Hey, I got a question for you. Where is Avtab Purival on this earnest tax issue? He wants to be the mayor. He wants to be the boss. And I know the Inquirer reached out to him. They reached out to David Mann. David Mann said he's not for raising the earnest tax for affordable housing. Okay? Whether you like either one of these candidates or not, the reality is David Mann is showing leadership by taking a position publicly. Okay? And Avtab Purival wants to walk through our Black communities trying to charm everybody with absolutely no substance. I read his affordable housing plan. It's 14 pages long. Guess what's missing out of it? How to pay for it. Okay? He doesn't say how he's going to pay for affordable housing, but he wants you to believe in his 14 pages that he has the plan. Well, look, where's the money for the plan, sir?
Okay.
Are you planning on raising the earning tax too? I mean, because the reality is, if he is, he needs to just say that and don't be silent. You out here running to be the boss of this city. You can't run from these types of questions. And he's running like hell.
You know you're being biased, though. I think.
No, I'm not being biased.
Yeah, you're being biased.
He has not.
I'm not,
because he has not said how he's going to pay for it.
I think
That's
there's
fair,
two things that I heard. One, I think that's a legitimate question about Avtab Purival if you running for mayor. But two, you being biased.
But how is it? How can it be both at the same time?
Well,
tell me.
Well, as we learned from your brethren, two things can be true at the same time, and in this case, that's true. I think that's a legitimate question to ask of Avtab and anybody running for public office. At the same time, you just said something that didn't make any sense. On one hand, you said Avtab ain't got no plan. David Mann don't have a plan on how to pay for it.
That's not what I said.
What's David? That's exactly what you said. Avtab out here charming, walking through the Black community, and he's got 14 pages of affordable housing, but he don't have a plan to pay for it. What's David Mann's plan other than I'm just not for it? What's David Mann's plan to pay for it?
I'm gonna tell you. Look, I'm gonna tell you what David Mann's plan is. What he's already done.
No. I want to know what his plan is moving forward. Not what he's already done. What's his plan to play for the affordable housing issue in Cincinnati? Because I haven't heard.
There is no issue. There is no issue. Number one. Number two, he's already addressing what was an issue because he voted to push approximately $35 million with the rest of council into affordable housing.
That's not enough.
Tell me about what David Mann's not doing. That's not enough. Says who?
Says everybody that knows anything about the situation. That's not enough money.
Not true.
Everybody knows
doing
that.
Something about.
So like I said, I think it's a legitimate question to ask Avtab and David Mann and anybody running for city council, but let's be fair here. On one hand, you're going to criticize Avtab saying he ain't come up with a plan on how to pay for it, and you're going to completely absolve David Mann because he's against it. Since when did being against something create the solution for it?
David Mann is doing the solution, bro. Is what I'm saying. You don't want to acknowledge that, and I get it. If you support Avtab, you don't want to acknowledge the fact that David Mann has a record on affordable housing.
I didn't ask about his record on affordable housing. I'm asking, as mayor, what is his plan to deal with this modern day current issue? And I haven't heard it yet.
He's already done.
So he don't have a plan, basically. And that's why I said you was being biased.
He's putting money into it. No, it's not. It's not biased at all. I'm looking at people's records. Okay, I'm looking at people's records. People tell you what they want to do all the time, but you got to look at what they already done. Okay,
No.
AFTAP has no municipal government experience. He has zero, okay? He has zero. David Mann has been in this game for 30 years as a legislator.
Irrelevant.
And he's down there putting 35. Of course it's relevant. You don't want it to be relevant for AFTAP.
My question is, what is David Mann's plan to fund the affordable housing issue? What is his plan, sir?
He's already doing it, bro. He's doing it right now.
What is he doing?
That's what I'm saying.
Then tell us.
Voting to fund 30. I'm telling you, but you don't want to hear his record. You want me to come up with some half-baked plan like AFTAP's doing to try to keep you black folks asleep because he's using the buzzword affordable housing. That's the problem with the black community. Some light-skinned PG Sittenfield can walk through black communities and hit you with charm and no substance, and you're cool with that. While David Mann is down here at City Hall with the rest of the council passing budgets that put $35 million into affordable housing. But you want to keep people asleep because you like AFTAP, and that's cool. But AFTAP, they got no substance, bro. Zero.
Just I think you projecting, bro.
I think no, I'm not.
I think what's really going on is you don't like AFTAP. No, it's not about AFTAP. What's really going on is you don't like AFTAP. So what you're trying to do is try to make it seem like he's less than David Mann. I'm just simply, you brought it up. I'm just simply asking you, what's the plan to fund it into the future? That's my plan.
Get the records.
Everybody's saying that we need about $40 to $50 million annually to take care of this. Isn't that what you're hearing?
I've heard 40. I don't know about 50. I've heard 40.
I said $40 to $50 million annually.
Issue 3 was $50 million. Issue 3 was $50 million annually.
Okay, I'm just saying, from what I'm hearing,
but they failed.
That's what I'm hearing. $40 to $50 million annually to put the money into the affordable housing fund to deal with it. Okay. What is David Mann's plan to do this?
He's already put $35 million into it, bro. What has AFTAP done on his record?
Didn't do anything by himself. You mean city council did?
He's a member of council.
Okay, then. You acting like he did it by himself. Council, a majority of council voted for this.
Nobody does anything by himself, bro.
As I understand it, hold on. As I understand it, AFTAP supported that. So they both supported it. So that's why I said you being biased.
AFTAP ain't gonna vote. No, I'm not.
It don't matter. He still supported it. And if he becomes the mayor, he would support the same thing David Mann did. That's why I said you're trying to be biased.
Bro. No, I'm not trying to be biased.
I'm just holding you accountable to what you said, bro. That's it.
That's cool. You can do that. But what I'm saying is I'm looking at people's records. I'm not looking at their rhetoric.
The record is irrelevant.
Not what they say.
The record is irrelevant because they both agree with the same action. What do you mean? Wait. How can you be looking at the record when they both agree with the same thing the council did? They both agree with it. The only difference is that David Mann is on council and AFTAP is not, but they both agree with the amount of money the council voted to put into it. They're on the same side of the same issue.
No, it's not, bro.
Oh, now you're lying. Now you're lying.
You lying because you're trying to tell people that records don't matter. You're trying to say that.
No, I'm not trying to say that. What I'm saying is you just called in and you said that AFTAP is charming his way to the black community and he don't have no way to fund it. And then I simply asked you what David Mann's plan is. And you told me. And then I told you that AFTAP supports that. So it sounds to me like they on the same wavelength when it comes to it.
They're not, but they're not the same, bro. And I'm gonna tell you why they're not the same. Because David Mann actually did it with his vote, with his juice, with his moxie down to City Hall.
And if AFTAP was on City Council, he would have voted for it too.
If we all be drunk, bro.
You're missing the point, sir, because you're trying to be biased. And I'm here to keep everything above board. But go right ahead.
Sure. My point is this. AFTAP Puraval has zero municipal government experience. That's a fact. He's down at the Court of Common Pleas pushing paper. And then he's out here for giving black people a rhetoric. But he has no record to stand on. He just tell you what he want to do. David Mann is doing what he's supposed to do.
Okay.
You talking about affordable housing? He put $35 million. He's going to put $35 million into it. AFTAP ain't had no vote in that because he's not down there. He don't know what's going on. He gives you a 14-page platitude on affordable housing. It has no plan on paying for it. Chris Silbach, to his credit, although I don't like his politics, at least has a plan on how to pay for it. David Mann said he's not for that. Where's AFTAP Puraval on that issue?
So that goes back to the core of our issue. Like I said, I think that's a fair question to ask AFTAP Puraval. What is your plan to fund the affordable housing fund moving forward? But that's also a fair question to ask of David Mann as well. That's a fair question for both of them.
Okay, here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you can't ask David Mann, but I'm gonna tell you what David Mann gonna say. He's gonna say, look at what I've already done. Okay, and that's fair.
But what he's
because that's
already
his
done
record.
is not enough, sir. Everybody knows that.
I totally disagree with that. Hey, do me a favor. Go find Abdab because he's stuck in the Inquirer. All right, he's ducking Sherry. He's ducking Kevin. He's ducking Jason. How about you get on the job and get asked on your show and ask him if he supports raising the earnings tax for affordable housing? Because right now you can't find it with a search warrant.
Well,
but hey,
I'll definitely do that. I support raising the earnings tax. I support it. I think it's a good idea. Like, who's got a better idea?
We just lowered it.
So if we're not going to go for issue 3, we're not going to raise the earnings tax. We're running out of options here. Who has the idea that we're going to agree on so we can properly fund this issue, the issue of affordable housing in Cincinnati? If we're not going, so we got 2 ideas that came forward. The voters shot down issue 3. Everybody bellyached about it. Okay, great. Now Chris Silbach came with this idea to raise the earning tax by 0.1%. Right? That's it. And if we're going to shoot this idea down, who's got the next idea? That's the real question.
Look, Abtab supposedly has an idea, but he don't say how he want to pay for it. So the only thing I can assume is that he want to raise taxes. He just needs to say that. In terms of David Mann, I'm looking at his record of what he's already done. He's putting money where his mouth is. It's a private-public partnership that has to be done for affordable housing. And he has the relationship to do it. He's doing it right now. Okay?
So who's the private? What companies are part of this private-public partnership? When I hear people say private-public partnership, usually it's always an idea, but they've yet to actually create the partnerships.
But they've done it, though. I'm saying $35 million, that's already done. Go down there and look at what they passed, bro.
I'm looking at it right now.
I'll send you the article. Okay? So you know what's going on. All I'm saying, bro, in conclusion, I know you got other callers. Look, you do your journalist thing, find Abtab, please, because apparently the big journalist can't find him, and ask him, does he support raising the earnings tax? Because David Mann said he ain't. Okay?
As I understand it, council has already cobbled together $19 million from the upcoming budget to spend on affordable housing. Then they authorized another $34 million alone from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. So what's this private-public partnership you're talking about?
How much is that?
That's $34 million.
Cobbled together. No, I'm saying, look at the 19. It's in the 19, bro.
Yeah. You just said that there was a private-public partnership. I'm trying to figure out, what is this? That's new to me. I hear people saying it, but I don't know who the people are.
Well, you have to read the legislation. I'm not here to do that for you. But suffice it to say, the $19 billion is part of that private-public partnership.
And it's not enough. And everybody knows that. So the question is, how do we close the gap from where we are now to where we need to be when it comes to this issue? That's the real issue. That's the real question.
You sound like you support Chris Silbach raising the earnings tax for this. I totally disagree with that.
I mean, I have a problem with it. You talking about, what is it? 0.1%? Yeah, okay, let's do it.
What he should do, because he ain't got 6 votes, what he should do then is get off his fat, lazy ass and go get these signatures like the vice mayor would do if he wanted an issue on the ballot, and put it on the ballot and let the voters vote on it.
So what's your idea?
This pandering game.
So who's got the best idea on how to fund the affordable housing issue in Cincinnati? That's the real question.
Between David Mann and Abtab Purival, I'm going to say David Mann based upon what he's already done.
They both agree with that, though. They're on the same side of the same coin.
Bro, but they don't. But look,
they both agree with it. David Mann's on council. He voted for it. Abtab is not on council. He supported it. They're on the same side of the issue, sir. I know you're trying to make a big difference between the two of them, but they're on the same side of it.
Look, bro, the reality is if you have a vote in this, that's what matters. You going out here saying I support it don't matter, bro.
That's not what matters, because we all know that Abtab could. We talking about here. We talking in circles here. This sounds ridiculous. They on a boat. They both agreed with what city council did. Period. Simple as that. Come on, man. Stop it with the nonsense. I hear what you're saying, bro, but you got to make it make sense. And so, what is David Mann's big idea? I want to hear it. He might have a big idea. I haven't heard it yet. I haven't heard it. I'm sure it's great. I can't wait to hear more about it. Let me see here. Hold on one second here. I said we got Kevin on the line. Hey, Kevin, hold on one second, brother. Appreciate you. All right. We got Kevin Aldridge here. Let's bring him on. He's on Zoom. Hey, what's up, Kevin?
Hey, what's going on, Nathan? How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing well. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your time. Can't hear you. Did you? Still there? I can see you. All right. I got you now.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, you know what we might want to do? We might want to disconnect and come back. Sometimes just resetting it like that might work if you can hear me, because I can't hear your audio at all.
Okay.
Right. So we got Kevin Aldridge coming in just a couple of minutes. We're going to talk about his recent piece in which he talks about, at least from his perspective, what we're seeing in terms of the violent crime in the city of Cincinnati. But yeah, what do you think so far? We had a lot of interesting calls. This show was very, very confrontational, very full frontal, and I like it like that. Hey, Kevin, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me better?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit better there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a delay in the audio a little bit, but let's see how it goes, brother. How have you been?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I cannot complain, man. Just trying to keep myself sane doing this show and going back and forth about the issues, man. But speaking of which, you wrote about a very important issue, and that is the violence that we're seeing in Cincinnati. Really, it's across the nation, but we'll focus on Cincinnati in your latest piece, Broken People Break Other People. And just want to have you come on and talk about what you see from your perspective and what's going on. And again, I'm going to post this in the Chop Shop right now so people can actually read the piece that you wrote and perhaps give some feedback in real time.
Yeah. So yeah, Nathan, I mean, this is an issue that has been, from day one when I came on at the Inquirer as the opinion editor, when I talked about the issues that in my time here, I wanted to focus on. Gun violence was one of those issues that I talked about, 5 or 6 years ago when I came back to Cincinnati to the Inquirer, because it is one of those issues that's ongoing that we wrestle with. We wrestle with every summer, and in just looking at trying to figure out ways how to address. And with every problem that we deal with in society, it's complex, it's nuanced. So to come on and say that any one particular thing is the silver bullet that's going to change the game is probably not the smart way to approach it. But if we do look at the issue in its totality and we break down some of the parts, there are some things that I think are more significant than others. People will point to poverty as one of the big drivers of crime and drug activity and some of the things that leads to the violence that we see. And that's definitely true. But just because you're poor and low income doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be violent or you're going to be engaged in this kind of violent activity. Look, our parents, our grandparents, our forefathers grew up in poverty and in a lot tougher situations than a lot of us are in today. Yet they didn't resort to the kind of violence that we're seeing in the streets. So what that says is that while poverty might be an indicator, it's not necessarily a chief driver of violence, because there are plenty of poor and low income folks who aren't engaged in it. And so one of the things that I do, as I explained in my column, outside of writing for the Inquirer, is I do a lot of mentorship, character development, and kind of pastoral counseling out in the community in Cincinnati, in my hometown of Middletown, where I grew up, and even in the community of Springfield, where I went to college. And so over the course of the last 10 or 15 years or so, I've sat with, talked with, worked with, thousands of young kids, a lot of them that fall into the category that people might consider to be quote unquote at risk, or kids who have run afoul of the law, have gotten into trouble, assaulted people, shot at people, been in jail, have juvenile records. And in talking with them, the one thing that I noticed, the one common thread that they had, regardless of the difference of the circumstances in which they had gotten in trouble with, was they all seemed to have this anger and pain that was at the center of what was driving them to act out and behave in these ways. And most of the time it went back to a pain that they had that was associated with either one or both of their parents not being active or being absent, in their lives. And this sense of a lack of self-worth, a lack of value, that, hey, if my parents, if the people who are supposed to love me most in this world don't see any value in me, then clearly I'm not worth anything. Otherwise they would be here. Otherwise they would be like the parents of people who are around me that I see. And obviously, because they're not, then that must indicate something is wrong with me. And so a lot of these kids don't have the support system. They don't have the coping mechanisms to deal with that type of emotional and psychological trauma. And so what they wind up doing is acting out in negative ways. And it may start out, as misbehavior, in school or in the community. And then these things sort of escalate. And so they're always in search of a love or a sense of belonging that they can't get at home. And where they often find it, unfortunately, is in the streets, whether that's in gang activity or with other people who are lost and disassociated like them. And then they start to engage in these negative activities that can escalate. And they develop a sort of hardened exterior, a sort of wall, a sort of desensitization that allows them to act in ways that, most of us, who don't come from that can't imagine. And they have no problem, dispensing the pain and bitterness on other people that they're feeling, because, they want you to get a taste of what it is that they're feeling. So, I can beat the mess out of, I can beat you down, I can take a shot at you. I can, do these things because I don't give a damn, quite frankly. And the reason why is because nobody gives a damn about me. If I don't value myself, then I don't value you. And for many young Black males, when they look at another Black man, they see and displace the anger that they might feel for an absent father in that situation on somebody else. And this is not me, speculating or positing. This is stuff that I've received directly back, from these young people in conversations as we've explored sort of the root of what their anger is. So this is not just some, off the cuff opinion that I have. It's an informed opinion based on, my observations and conversations with hundreds to thousands of young people over the years. And I think what it takes me back to is this notion of the family unit. As Black people, we already start out with certain deficits, in life, because of racism and the history of racism in this country. And anytime we add on to that deficit, a unstable family structure, it just increases the likelihood that it's going to be tougher for us to make it out. So, if you put poverty on top of racism, on top of, not having a stable nuclear family at home, it's going to be very hard for a young person to avoid the trappings that a lot of our young people are falling in. So we've got to try to make sure that at the bare minimum, we do a better job in our community of trying to have stable family units. Now, I get it. Folks are grown. They get involved in relationships that don't work out. And I'm not necessarily suggesting that people should stay in bad relationships or bad situations for the sake of the kids. But I think there's a difference between staying in a relationship and being present. So what we're talking about is being present in the life of these young people, present in a significant way. So nothing says the mom and daddy got to be together living in the same household. Obviously, that's the best situation. But I think it's having a meaningful presence, in your kid's life. That makes a tremendous amount of difference, no matter what economic situation, you might be in. It increases the likelihood of keeping young people out of the types of things that we're seeing. And so that was kind of where I was going with the piece, is that, I think we need to spend a little bit more time talking about, and this isn't in the Black community either, Nathan. I mean, I see kids of all races, involved in this. So while some people might look at that, and I do point out in the article, I do mention Black people and African Americans a lot. And I do that mainly because, hey, that's the community I'm a part of. I care about that community. I care about everybody, but I care intensely about my own community and my own people. So I'm going to try to talk directly to them if I can. But again, this goes across races. I mean, I've sat across from just as many white kids and Hispanic kids who are dealing with some of these same situations of abandonment that are causing them challenges. So that's why I said in the piece that this is really just not an issue that's up to Black people to solve. I think it's a community issue that's going to require all of us to come together and try to figure out, how do we get at these kids early? We got to start putting bodies on these kids early, or they're going to start putting bodies on the street. And so we've got to figure out ways how to get resources into our community so that we can get more people involved in mentoring, trying to create family atmospheres, but more so supporting families so that they can stay together. I think we spend a lot of time talking about redeveloping certain communities and this, that, and the other, but I think we got to spend a certain amount of time talking about how do we rebuild families, because communities are only as good as the people who are in them. I don't care what buildings you put up, what fancy structures you construct. If the people ain't right, the community ain't going to be right. And I think those are the things we got to talk about and work on.
Yeah. I detect no lies, Kevin. Facts on facts on facts on facts, man. I think you're hitting the nail right on the head when it comes to the family unit. I think it starts there, and we should start there. I like what you said about building families, making that whatever we can do to support that family unit, because a lack of self-worth, I think, is at the core of it. When you love yourself, when you see value in yourself, when you have something to live for, I feel like you're going to be less likely to engage in anything that will put that in danger. And I think you're going to be more likely to see the value in other people as well. And then I do think that there's a distinction between our history as Black people and other folks. Mm-hmm. And so I think that the tactics that we would, the methods and the approach is going to have to be different, for us as well. But it's about that family unit, man. It's about whatever it takes. And I think that's a lot, though. That's a lot in that. That's policy to support families, like before and after school programs. That's policy to support single mothers, single fathers. You can't force somebody to be a dad. You can't force somebody to be a mom. But, as a city, we can do whatever we can to support the family unit, the idea of it. And I think when you take out the hope and push in the dope, you add a culture of, anything that brings you money and shine or whatever and cred. I mean, it just becomes a real dangerous mix. You also got a lot of people that's disaffected. They feel completely isolated to what's going on in the city of Cincinnati. And when you add that to the mix, you get exactly what you see, unfortunately. So in your opinion, I mean, so how do we turn this around? Let's say we agree with what we both just said. We agree with what you said. So what do we need to do as citizens to help turn this around? What do we do? Is it a politics thing? Do we need to create more institutions? How do we turn Cincinnati? How do we help make Cincinnati the kind of place that we all want to live in?
Yeah, Nathan. So I think, and I preach this too from the pulpit. In case any of your listeners didn't know, I'm also a pastor. And what I always say is that if we think about the problems and challenges that we face, not just in Cincinnati, but in the United States and globally, it's like overwhelming. And we can get discouraged and just say, this is too big. What can I do as little old me, one individual? Like I can't affect, these big citywide, statewide, national, global issues all by myself. And if you think about that, it can certainly be discouraging and just kind of cause you to throw your hands up and just say, I'm going to just sit back and cut. But I think if we look at it from, okay, what can I do in my space, in my circle, with those who I have influence with, and just start with what I can do immediately. And I think the one thing that we can all do is we all know of somebody, some kid, whether it's in our family, whether it's on our block, whether it's in our church, somewhere, who we know is struggling, or their family is struggling a little bit. And if we just said, you know what, I am going to take this one kid, just me, I'm going to take this one kid, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to start to try to deposit myself in their life in positive ways, whether that's, trying to spit knowledge to them wherever they're at, taking them places. I talked in the article about, just being a mentor, and a lot of people are like, I don't have time for that. But it's like, we don't think that it's easier than you think. Like kids that I mentor, take them with you to your job, take them to a meeting that you're going to, anything that you're doing in your regular life. Take them along with you to that and talk to them along the way, or just let them see how you operate. Let them see something different. Take them with you when you're going out of town or doing something. Incorporate the mentorship into a part of your everyday life. So it's not like you're going outside of the way to do something extra. You're doing what you normally do. You're just involving them in it, for a few hours a week. So I think the change we want to see starts with being willing to change things about ourselves. And so if we start with ourselves, what can I do? Can I find one person, that I can bring along and make a difference with? If everybody in Cincinnati, just think, if everybody who was capable in Cincinnati took that attitude and decided to do that, how many young lives could we touch and influence and change if we all just decided that we were going to take one person under our wing? Now, it seems like a small thing. People might be saying, that may not make a difference, but, take it from experience, in terms of working with young people who have, who have given feedback about just how much of that little bit of time, somebody showing an interest in them, that they care, speaking life into them, helping them understand that they have value, and showing them the right ways that they can get things. Because a lot of these kids don't see, Nathan, the things that you and I are doing and some of the people in your audience are doing are like foreign concepts to some of these. They don't see that. That's not reality to them. And obtaining that isn't reality because nobody in their circle or in their experience is doing it. And so you might as well be talking about going to Mars or something like that. It just doesn't seem real and attainable. And the reality is, for most of us, we develop our dreams and the thoughts about what we're doing by seeing other people and being around other people who are doing it. And it inspires us to want to try to do those things. So I think that's where we start, because I think there are a lot of other things that we do. Yes, I agree with you. We need to fund. I don't know if it's necessarily institutions, but maybe it's more programs. I mean, look, there are a lot of people in Cincinnati in the community who are already doing some great things. I don't think we necessarily need to reinvent the wheel. I just think we need to go and look and dig deep and find out, what organizations and what people are already doing some really good things in Cincinnati, but there's just not awareness about it. They don't have the resources to have a great reach, to reach enough people. And begin to put manpower behind those things, put dollars behind those things, and that will help out in some other areas. We got to continue to push on the political level to make sure that people in Cincinnati have stable housing. I mean, that's another piece that we talk about. Your family unit ain't going to be very stable if you don't have a stable roof over your head. And people have to be able to live. They have to be able to earn livable wages right now. We got to help people develop work ethics. I think about my own life. My dad had a tremendous work ethic, and he was not too proud to do whatever he had to do to put, food on his table for his family. If he had to work 2 or 3 jobs, that's what he did. I can remember as a kid growing up, my dad later became a school teacher who taught for 32 years. But there were times, man, where he cleaned toilets, where he shined shoes, where he did jobs that I know a lot of other people sort of looked at him and, maybe even laughed about him. Like, I look at Mr. Aldridge out there shining shoes and cleaning toilets. But you know what? We ate, we had a place to stay. We took vacations. They paid for me to go to school. So say what you will about, those kinds of jobs, but he had a work ethic where he understood that taking care of his family and creating a better opportunity for his kids was where it's at. So those are the kind of things that we got to be out there trying to teach and help our young people learn. But it starts with us saying, what can I do? Who's in my circle? Who can I influence and impact? And I think, can I put a body on some young person who I know needs it and do my little part on a consistent basis? And I think over time, what we will see is that can make a tremendous difference.
Yeah, speaking with Kevin Aldridge, he's the opinion editor with the Cincinnati Enquirer. We're talking about his latest opinion piece titled "Broken People Break People." Or, I'm sorry, "Broken People Break Other People." And I posted a link inside the Chop Shop. You can check it out. It's on Cincinnati.com. Yeah, man, I'm with all of that. I think whatever we can do to look at it as a family issue, to support the family, to support young people, to support that process. I'm a big person that's in favor. And again, there's no one-shot panacea, but I'm hugely in favor of the community learning center programs. If they're not being properly funded, they should be properly funded. Because what we know is that a lot of kids get in trouble in those hours right after school. That's where the community learning center and after school programs can come in place to create a safe haven and even help some young people find a spark to take them away from what might be in the streets, could be in a more positive vein. I think men need to be men. Men need to be men. We need to make better choices with our reproductive abilities. I think we need to be more honorable with women and be more straight up and be more forward. And if you become a father, you just step up and be a dad, no matter what your relationship is with the woman and how you feel about it. Because a lot of that has to deal with, broken families, the disintegration of the Black family unit. I think we should do a full investigation in the city of Cincinnati and to target any and all things, whatever it might be, that in any way negatively impacts the family unit. We need to do away with that. And we need to be as pro-family, not just in lip service and in terms of politics, but in serious, be really, really pro-family, pro-Black family as much as possible. Because like you said, I didn't grow up with a lot of money. I was on Section 8, but my people had a lot of love for me. And it was just some things they just weren't going for. So there were standards there. Not to say that people don't have standards, but clearly there's a breakdown somewhere. And and again, we're just in different days now. Like comparing today to the 70s, not really fair, because we've had the explosion of all kind of drugs, the explosion of availability of guns, right? And then you got this culture, right, that can lead a lot of people down the wrong direction. And so it's a bit different than what it was in the 70s. Like kids today are dealing with things that we didn't deal with if we was children in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? We was much more, if you want to say, innocent. We had less access to a lot of stuff. So things are a little different now, a lot different now in some cases. But again, that family unit, man, I think that's something that we can do as individuals, even within our own family. Like it's a lot of people out there, you don't have the time to be volunteering and going to after school programs, but you got nieces and nephews.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You got little people inside your family. Start right there. Start in your own family. That's something we can all do. They're your family, right?
That's right.
That's one thing you can do. Raise them the right way. Set a standard for them. Let them know you watching. Let them know you love them. Things like that. There's a phrase like, you can't reach people if they don't know. You can't reach young people if they don't. Do you know what the phrase is? I just heard it the other night. Actually, I was watching NBA and Jalen Rose said it, and I just can't remember. You know what that phrase is? Like, if you don't touch somebody, it's hard to reach somebody. Something like that.
Yeah.
You heard that phrase before?
Yeah, that's and you're so right. It's one of the things that we talk about in the church. And how the Black church, or just church in general, has sort of lost its way with the people. And I think one of the reasons for that is that we've lost our ability to sort of reach out and touch the people. Too much of church is about trying to get them to come into the four walls, or at least it was before the pandemic. It's a very different environment now. But ministry is most effective when you're out on the street touching people. If you even want to take it to Jesus was out with the people. He was touching the people, letting the people touch him. And so I think we have to, as a community, Stop being afraid of one another. Stop, standing too harshly in judgment of one another. Like it's okay to correct. It's okay to try to educate and bring people along. What's not okay is sort of the judgment that we lay at the feet of other people, condemning them and making it seem like they're irredeemable. We have to have, there's a line that I say in the column is that, we have a surplus of bullets on our streets because we have a deficit of love, in our home, in our communities. And I think we got to get in touch with our ability, to really love and care about each other, not just say love and lip service, because we like to do that a lot of times, say I love you, and it's something kind of quaint and convenient to say. But love is not just words; it's in action. It's how we show it, how we display our love to each other. And I think we have to get better and more intentional about the action of love, in our communities. And like you said, Nathan, people are busy, man. We got, people got jobs. They got a lot of things they're involved with. They're raising their own families. But again, I'm not talking about dedicating, even the vast majority of your day. I'm talking about a 15-minute phone call every day just to call somebody and check on them and say, how you doing? What's going on with you? Is there anything I can help talk you through? What do you need? What do you need from me? How often do we ask that from people? We sit back, we kind of hope folks don't ask things of us or don't need anything from us because we kind of don't want to be bothered. But one of the best questions that we can ask people is, hey, what do you need from me? How can I help you today? And some ways we might not be able to help folks, but in the ways that we can, I think, at least for me as a Christian, we're obligated to do what we can. And that's not always money. The disciples said in the Bible, silver and gold I do not have. But what do you have that you can offer to folks out there that might help make a difference in their lives? So we got to get back to the love, man, and not just pay lip service to it, but show it through action.
Mm-hmm. Kevin, so real quick, man, on another issue, I know the Ohio Kings are coming back. I missed a phone call with you, brother, which that's on my bad. I'll reach out to you if we can make that happen. But tell us about the Kings real quick.
Man, I am so glad you asked that, because I was going to ask you, man, if I could get in a
you already know, man. Listen, you already know.
A quick plug on that. So I appreciate you asking about that, man. Look, we're excited to get the Kings back. In case people who are listening aren't aware, I'm one of the co-owners of a professional basketball team called the Ohio Kings. We started playing Cincinnati at Cincinnati State in 2019. Of course, COVID laid us down last season. We did not compete in our league, the American Basketball Association, last year. We opted out for obvious reasons, but we're coming back in November of this year. And we've been laying the groundwork. We haven't been wasting time over the past year. And we're looking forward to coming back, man, and putting on some great basketball for the citizens, the people of Cincinnati. Last year or 2 years ago, when we did the Kings, we did over 150 free haircuts at each of our home games for kids in the community. We're going to bring that back this year. We're going to have even more barbers involved cutting heads this year, free at the game again. Kids who come with an adult with a paid ticket can get a free haircut at the games. And this year, in year one, we were charging $5 a ticket for kids 12 and under. This year, through some generous contributions from some of our sponsors, we're going to be able to let every child under the age of 12 into Ohio Kings game for free. So bring your kids to the game. Adults still got to pay the $10 admission price, but bring your kids 12 and under for free. They won't have to pay. Again, this is something that we wanted to open up to the community. Fun, family-friendly entertainment that's low cost. You can come have a good time. So lots of things that we're going to be doing. We're reshaping our roster. We finished the season 14-4. I think back in 2019, had made the playoffs. We're scheduled to host a home playoff game at Cincinnati State in our first year. We really thought that we had a championship level team, but then COVID sort of canceled the rest of that season and the next season. And so we're anxious to get back, man. We got new uniforms coming that are fire, Nathan. I'm telling you, these uniforms are fire. Folks are gonna want to get their hands on some of these when they see them. And we're just looking forward to getting back, man. It was tough taking that year off. We were building some momentum, and we're just looking forward to recapturing that, getting the word out. I think everybody who came and got the experience a couple of years ago could attest that it was a great atmosphere. It was a great experience. And our major problem was just awareness, making sure that folks knew we were out there. We don't have the Carl Leonard III behind us. We don't have, all of these deep pockets, who are throwing millions of dollars behind it. This is Black owned, Black run. And, we do what we can with what we got. And we're very proud of what we were able to accomplish in year one. And we're looking to continue to build on that in year two with even greater things. So bigger and better. That's our mantra for this year. So if you enjoy year one and you thought it was great, get ready for this one, because we're doing it up twice as big this year.
You know me, man. I thought it was a dope ass idea. And I love that it's Black owned and locally Black owned, and I had a good time. So it's definitely, I think people are going to be looking for things to do after COVID. So I'm sure it'll be a great year, man. So when's it kick off?
So our first game of the season is that first Saturday in November. So we will play what's kind of what you would consider to be kind of like a little exhibition season. So we'll have 4 games, 2 in November, 2 in December. Those first 2 weekends in each month. We'll break for the holidays, and then starting in January, we get into our ABA league schedule for the next 16 games. And so we'll play clear through the end of March, and then the playoffs, which we plan to be in, start in April, and we'll go from there. Again, we'll play at Cincinnati State. Most of our games will be around 7 p.m. In the evenings on Saturday. So hopefully folks will come out and support. I saw one of the comments, somebody said new uniforms after one season. And so I do want to say, yeah, we are upgrading everything. Remember, I said year 2 is bigger and better. So we have our original uniforms that we're going to ball in, but we got, how they do in the NBA now, man. Teams got 4, 5 different sets of uniforms that they ball out in, alternate uniforms. And so that's what we're bringing to the table, to have a little fun with it, make sure our guys look good. You know what? You look good, you play good. And so, we want our players looking good at home and on the road. And so, again, we've been fortunate enough to have some things go for us that we can afford to invest in the franchise in that way. And so we're just real excited, man. I am so excited to get back, and I just hope Cincinnati will come out and support us, because truly the vision that we have for this team is to make it a community thing. And Nathan, we do all kinds of different things to make the community a part of it. We bring in dance teams. We could come out and have the Ohio Kings dancers, but we don't want to do that. We wanted to bring in, dance teams from around the city to highlight these young kids, give them a platform to be seen and get out there. We had the School of Performing Arts marching band. They were at every one of our home games playing. DJ iGrind was spinning the tunes for us. At the games. We even had you in, man. We even did some celebrity PA announcers during the game. We're going to bring that back. We'll probably have a game or two.
I was nervous as hell, man. But
oh yeah, man. But you did a good job.
I got into it like, this is kind of fun. So I thought it was a good time, and I could see the vision too. Like, I can see where you headed, man, and I'm excited for you. I wish nothing but the best.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Well, Kev, thanks for your time this morning. I'm going to post another link inside the Chop Shop so people can check out your opinion piece, and I'll be in contact real soon, brother.
Okay, Nathan, take care, man. Be blessed.
You too, man. Yeah, I love that idea. You know me, man. I thought it was a great idea when I heard about it, and then it was Black owned and locally Black owned. Say no more. Say no more. So if you're looking for something to do, you want to try something different, check out the Ohio Kings. And you never know. Something special might be coming. You never know. Never know. But good morning to you. I see a lot of comments are coming in. Wanted to talk about, me. It's rare when I just talk about one thing for the entirety of the show. That means it's a really, really hot, very hot topic. Typically, I come with multiple gifts in hand to talk about. So we kicked off talking about Monique and her fat shaming and her body shaming. That's exactly what she was doing. I see people in here making a lot of excuses. It's not body shaming. It was body shaming, period. That's exactly what she did. And there's no excuses to be made. Stop making excuses for bad people's behavior. Then I saw some other people in there that was into the conversation with Kevin and offering their thoughts. Thank you so much. And then I go back and circle around. Then you have some folks in there that, and I get it. People, when you do a show like this, people are busy. They're at work. They don't really give you 100% attention. So you might mishear some things or thought you heard this or the other. But I saw that Cincy Tigress corrected it. People were like, well, Nate, didn't you say we shouldn't talk or analyze black folks? It's not what I said. But I can understand people miss things sometimes. But I'm glad that Cincy Tigress corrected it. And I see Black Russian here belly aching. He let me have it yesterday. Yeah, because you keep talking about black on black crime and you live in Cincinnati. Go out here and do something. You keep talking about what other people ain't doing. Go do it. Go do it. I mean, that's a challenge for you. I am not criticizing. I'm just challenging you. Like, if you care so much about it in Cincinnati, go out there and either build it yourself and lead it, or identify somebody that's already leading the charge and get on their team. What else this morning? What'd you think about what Kevin said about he seemed to focus on the family unit, and I think that's right. There's only so much you can do, but are we doing everything we can do? That's the question. There's only so much you can do, but are we really and truly doing everything we can do in Cincinnati to address what we see? That's the real question. And if we come up short, why? Why? Terrence writes, Kevin just told you the opposite and you sat there. It would be confusing if the fallacy wasn't so glaringly obvious. I don't know what you're talking about. See, Mrs. Love Being Black writes, what I miss, what Monique say now. Monique's back at it again, body shaming another sister, body shaming her and criticizing her for what she has on. I put it in the cover art, but I blurred it because I don't know this sister. And I ain't trying to shame her or say anything negative about her, but some people get like that, man. They get brand new. You ever met somebody that get brand new? Drop a couple pounds, get a new job, maybe something good go for them. Now they brand new. Nothing worse than a brand new individual, but let me see here. Nat writes, who decides what looks good? Obvious retort, right. I decide what looks good for me, not you. I decide that. You don't like what I'm wearing? I remember somebody called in and said he ain't like I think it was Fang, said he ain't like my glasses. I don't give a damn. You think I'm going to start wearing them because you don't like them? Shit, I'll be a weak-ass man, and I'm not a weak-ass man. I'm grown. I do what I want, when I want, for the most part. There's limitations on everything. But I wear what I want when I get ready to. And I don't give a damn what nobody think about it. Now, if it's the wifey, that's different, right? If it's my daughter at teenage, she's a teenager now, and she just loves to critique her family, but she does it from a good heart. That's different. You know what I'm saying? If it's some incredible source and it's coming from a good place, that's different. If it's some nonsense from the peanut gallery, please, I won't even be able to take it in because I won't be able to hear it. You know what I'm saying? I won't be able to hear it. Let me see. Charles writes, in Ohio Kings game was a good time. I thought it was a good time. I thought it was a good family fun. I love b-ball. I love to see it. And it's local. And again, it's black owned. And I like that. I hope they become big, real big. That'd be cool. Sister Iris is here. Sis, we got to talk about CEAI. And I think I got that right. And what y'all doing out in Bond Hill, which is phenomenal. Phenomenal. You hit me to the game a little while ago, but it's good to see it's out there now. I want to hear all about it. So I'll circle back around and hit you up and maybe, we can talk about that. Just phenomenal. It's a lot of good people doing great things, man. Let me see. Terrence writes, man, Nate acting like he ain't said a damn thing this morning. Look good, feel good, yet silence on any pushback when he says the same damn thing we were saying this morning. I don't know what you're talking about. Let me see. Angela writes, congratulations. I think she's talking to Kevin. Let me see. Tabitha writes, open up our community centers. Right. You know, I'm a big proponent of the community learning centers, the after school programs, the before programs. They support families. They support extending learning. They support children. It's like you get 3 for the 1. You know, you got a lot of working families out there, and they need a positive environment for their kids to be in. And that's the reason why that concept was even funded. And again, I'm a little disconnected from it at this point, but when I was more into youth development, like doing it every day, I realized that the funding was a real issue. And we just don't talk about it enough when we talk about choosing our next politicians. Nobody talks about, do you support before and after school programs? Do you support the community learning center concept? That can be huge. There is no panacea, but as many safe spaces, enriching spaces that we can create for young people, we need to be doing it. And if it costs us more money as taxpayers, I can't think of a better way to do it. Support these young people, man. Support the young people. Tabitha writes, America needs to be fair. They systematically create these downfalls for Black people by neglecting our situations and purposely defunding our communities and our agendas. Correct, Amundo. Sister Iris writes, love is an action verb. I love my peeps. Mrs. Love Being Black writes, good morning, fellow beautiful smart choppers. Good morning to you. Let me see. Terrence Grasson writes, nah, that's BS. I'm not sure what he's speaking of. Here it is. Cincy Tigers writes, sigh. What Nathan said was, we analyze and overanalyze Black people, and that we spend more time analyzing whites in the white family. Thank you, Cincy Tigers. That's exactly what I said, but I get it. You know, sometimes people get in that contrarian bag. You know, that's just the nature of this kind of business. And then sometimes, I think oftentimes people just busy. You know, they driving, they working, they pouring coffee, they might be working out, so they don't really hear everything. So I totally get it. Totally get it. Good morning to you. Let me see. Terrence Grasson writes, it's so ironic that Aldridge is saying the same thing we were talking about earlier, and Nate was trying to shut us down. I don't think he was saying the same thing at all. Not at all. Not one bit. But we can always agree to disagree on that. Jay Rose writes, wait, I thought we need to stop analyzing the Black culture and people. Yeah, I think Cincy Tigris kind of spoke to that already. Let me see. Tiffany writes, isn't Nate the one who said yesterday we need to stop analyzing Black people, yet here he is saying the opposite? Yeah, I think Cincy Tigris handled all of that. I think y'all just mishearing, busy, whatever, or maybe you're hearing what you want to hear, but Jordan writes, some families don't have supportive elders to guide them and are being led by inexperienced young adults. Correct, Amundo, Jordan. Good morning to you. Absolutely. That's why I say adults got to be adults. I act like a grown man all the time. I never act like a child. I'm not a child. When I'm around young people, I'm not their age. Young people don't need for a man my age to act their age. They need a man my age to act my age for them. I don't do that. And I've seen that before. I've seen it in the streets before. These grown-ass men acting like kids. You're not a child. You're not a teenager. You're not 21. You're 40, 50, 60 in some cases, running around here. But it's that drug culture, man. It's that crack cocaine and all the other drugs has had a disastrous effect on our communities. Disastrous effect. Let me see here. Let me see. Trying to catch up with your chat right here. Kathy writes, Kevin is right. I've worked with the population of families and youth for over 30 years. Over the last 9 years, specifically with at-risk youth. Flavor 411 writes, Graxton, you're entitled to an opinion, but being disrespectful to our females doing a good work is unacceptable. David Whitehead is Flavor 411. Hey, what's up, David? Tracy writes, I like the red walls, Kevin. Is that right? Oh, man. Angela writes, inclusion in a racist system is kind of head scratching to me. I think I understand what you're saying. Rachel writes, those of us with the ability must be a part of a Black child's village as much as possible. See, what I say is start with your family. You got nieces and nephews and cousins and them. Start with them. Start with them. That's the easiest way to start. Let me see. Angela writes, we need to create our own outlets and quit simply thinking the fight lies within being included under the eye of racist white supremacists. Now, I agree with that, but we also got to fight white supremacy and racism wherever it may be, whether it be at a movie theater, whether it be at a diner, whether it be at a restaurant, wherever it needs to be. You know, you got to put up a resistance, right? It's that Perez Hammond. Putting up a resistance. Got to put up a resistance. Let me see. Jay Rose writes, as a people, we need to promote healthy relationships and all this baby mama, baby daddy nonsense. That's why I talk to men all the time and shit. Be careful about your reproductive abilities. You know what I'm saying? You know, do what you do, but there's a way that you do it. Do what you do, but there's a way that you do it. Good morning to you. Terrence said he doesn't, I think I read this, he doesn't believe that I was being authentic in my outrage this morning, which, you know, think what you want to think. Richie B writes, good morning. What's up, Richie? I'm sorry. Rika B. I said Richie. Rika B. Good morning to you, Rika. Good morning to you. Yeah, I assure you, my outrage was 100% authentic. Yeah, it burns me up. It's like, come on now. This is what we doing out here? I am going to so what is this? Jay Rose writes, what about your stance on mentoring, Nate? I just told you, I think I'm 100% for mentoring. We should, if you don't have the time to go out here and mentor somebody else's child outside your family, starting your own family. You got nieces and nephews and cousins in them, the friends of your family, the children of your friends. Start there. Start there. Queen Maxine writes, be careful who you procreate with, right? And be careful about procreating. Not everybody was born to procreate. Not everybody was born to be a parent. Being a parent takes a lot of patience. It's a big ass sacrifice. It's a huge sacrifice. Don't make no mistake about it. Not everybody is built for that. Know who you are and do what you got to do. That's why I tell men, get a vasectomy. I say it all the time. If you know you ain't that dude, then don't be that dude. Just get the snip. You'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. Let me see. Terrence writes, only false because y'all want it to be. Y'all ain't out here teaching y'all kids to be in public like that. Don't people dress appropriately when they go to court, a job interview? Brother, listen. Your kids, let me just show you how wrong you are with this, Terrence. Here you are comparing, criticizing a grown adult person with the way that you raise your kids. They ain't the same, bro. What you do with your children is completely different with the way you're supposed to interact with another grown adult. Another grown adult is not your child to tell them what to do and how they're supposed to do that. Two complete, you talk about a false equivalency. One has nothing to do with the other. But that's my point. That's my point. Terrence's comment right there is my point. That's why I get so outraged about it, disgusted, if you will. Shout out to Fame. Because here you are talking about a grown ass woman talking about what you do with your kids. They ain't got nothing to do with one another whatsoever. What I do and how I raise my kids don't have nothing to do with the way I interact with a grown person at all. Those are my children. That's my job. They're minors. Their brains aren't developed. You might be talking about a 30, 40, 25, 27-year-old woman. Let her do what she want to do. Simple as that. Listen, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. Thank you for checking us out on YouTube this morning. And it means everything to me. Remember, Monique body shames and cyber bullies Black women. The one thing that we didn't get a chance to get really, really deep into is the fact that, and matter of fact, let's do that right now before we roll out of here, actually. Let's do that right now. Let's do that right now before we roll out of here. I got to talk about this. CPS. A new report. Cincinnati schools are not adequately preparing Black students for college. Let me give you the screenshot of this so you can see it for yourself. You know, I'm not just making up this headline. You got to see. This is from WVXU, and they're reporting this morning. Shout out to them. Good reporting. I like. So look at this. Cincinnati schools are not adequately preparing Black students for college. In 2015, At the majority of Cincinnati public schools, not one black student passed an AP exam. Apparently, there's a new report, State of Black Students in Higher Education. 91% of black students who pass AP exams go to Walnut Hills. 4 passed at Clark Montessori and 8 at Dater. That leaves 11 high schools where 0 passed. Quote, I'm not blaming black students or the black community. I'm not saying y'all need to work. I'm saying we as a community, professors, educators, politicians, whoever, we need to make sure that black students are getting support from K through 12 and also in higher education. So let's put all this together, shall we? Let's put all this together. CPS has a black student problem. They just settled a multi-million-dollar lawsuit with a black family because a black child basically was ignored after being bullied for a long ass time. The boy ended up committing suicide. On top of that, CPS spent, what was it, $600,000 fighting it in court, arguing that they're not responsible to the black family. That your kid can go to CPS, get bullied. Administrators don't have to call the parents. They can lie to the parents. They can mislead the parents. They spend $600,000 in court. On lawyers in court on this. CPS has a black student problem. Why are they treating the black student this way? What's going on here? On top of that, the ACLU most recently did an analysis, and what they found is that black students in CPS were 5 times more likely to get exclusionary discipline. What in the what is going on with CPS and black students? I don't have a lot of time this morning, but you can believe I'm going to spend more time on this and circle back around. I'm going to reach out to the authors of this report and try to get them on the show this week and talk with everybody who's anybody on this issue. But clearly, something's wrong. Clearly. It's a damn shame that one of the best things that CPS produces is a cheese pizza and a chicken patty sandwich. That is a travesty. And, I'm going to reach out to the new interim superintendent. She might be the new superintendent. I saw the promo video they did with CPS. It was a wonderful video. She seems like a great woman. But what in the what is she going to do about this? Now, is that fair? No, it's not fair. It's not fair to put that all on one person, but she's the person at the top. So that's how it goes. Something's up. There's a real problem with CPS. Why are these other schools underperforming? Why are black kids getting more exclusionary discipline? What real reforms are going to be put in place in the wake of the lawsuit with the Gabriel Taye family? I ain't heard shit. You ain't heard nothing. We got a lot of questions. So people out there like, well, man, we need to talk about something more substantive. Well, start your own podcast and talk about it then. Don't tell me what to talk about. I talk about what I want to talk about. That's number 1. But number 2, boom, I just gave it to you. Run with it. There it is. What's more substantive than what's happening with our children in our public school systems? I'll say this again, and everybody knows this. The city of Cincinnati will never reach our apex. We will never become the city that everybody wants this city to become as long as our public school is underperforming. It will never happen. It will never happen. This is a damn shame. Let me see. Now, there's been some improvements, and where there have been improvements, that's a great thing. There's been some improvements, but they need to bring them that grades need to come up. CPS can do better. They can do better. There's a lot of great people that work in CPS, but it's such a big thing that no 1 or 2 people can move the needle by themselves. I'll be honest with you. As much as we criticize CPS, but the more I think about this, to be honest with you, where this really going to have to come from? It's going to have to come from the public. Until the public gets outraged and sick and tired and start really getting fiery and stop being so Cincinnati polite and, oh, she's cute and she's nice and I went to school with this person. And as long as we keep doing all that stuff, ain't nothing going to change. It's going to take the public, quite honestly. The more I think about it, it's going to take the public. I'll leave you with that. Have an excellent rest of your day, family. I really appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Please like and in particular share today's show. When you share the show, more people see it. Have an excellent rest of your Tuesday. I hope it's a tremendous Tuesday. Go out and win today. I want to see you win. All right. And we'll talk real soon. Until next time, I'm Nathan Ivy, and I'm out.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand. I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a I don't care. Did the for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my God, I told him it's nothing. In the discussion, for them feelings I throw all my pain on percussion. It's disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you almost spotted the feast. I've been on go mode, showboat, rowboat, wave ride. Cool shorty, too naughty, pool party, wet for the face ride. Annie up, penny down, hand me down, thrift store, old drip. New money, too funny, old shorty, talk about old. I'm on they now, can't get a pass now. I'm a cash cow, keeping it brash now. Trash now, I'm a spaz out. I've been killing my lows and living on highs. You see in the skies the proof. You could just see in my eyes that there is no lies. I cannot disguise the truth. I've been